How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Marin software. I've been getting the messages that said, yo, Dre, you said a spike was going to be coming in your last video, and it came today. They did have earnings that went down inside of the after hours, but it did end up seeing $9.50. Well, you know what? I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We have been seeing it has been paying off. I told you guys, look out for that spike. It's going to be happening, especially going into where they're going to be having earnings as well. And many of you were able to make some money off of that run, off of that fluctuation. Like I said, I have the ability to see these spikes from the research that I do. So as far as those spikes are concerned, that's where you trade off of that momentum. You find those areas of support, and when that spike does occur, then you think about taking profits. And then secondly, we're going to be taking a look at Fintel. We want to know the short interest information. I already know earnings have come out. Shorts are going to be all over this stock. So we want to see, are there any changes? What happened the day before? And of course, I'll make sure to keep you guys updated as well as next week. But then afterwards, we'll be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know, are institutions, were they loading up on shares today? What was the large scale orders? This is very key because it does impact the stock price. And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping right into the final thoughts. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Marin software. Let's see how it performed on the day. So we ended up closing at $8.28, being up 28.17% on the day. On the low, it tested $6.19, and then on the high, testing $9.50. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 57.309 million shares, and as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days is at 15.416 million. So well above average, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some strength inside of the stock today. As far as the chart that we're using the 1-year daily chart. As we take a look at the RSI down below, you can see it's right around 49.08, so it's pretty much right in the middle. So as far as the performance that we saw, we ended up testing, we have a support level here right around the $6 range. We tested $6.19 and made a big move going all the way up to $9.50. I must say, wow. When I did the last video, I was telling you, hey, a big time run is coming from Marin software. And due to the fact that they did have earnings today, it built in a lot of anticipation. So we ended up seeing some strong move to the upside. And we got all the way up here to the 21-day EMA where it's at $9.02. And of course, met some selling pressure as it started selling off going into the close. But of course, that is no surprise due to the fact that they have earnings that was going to be announced in the after hours. So as far as how things are looking like going into next week, I would continue to keep it on your watch list and see what happens during regular trading hours. I would not trade this during the pre-market. Wait for the market to open and see how well it can hold up this $6 level. If it continues to hold up this $6 level, continue to keep that on your watch list, because if it ends up breaking through this $6 level, then it can start getting back into the fives, and that's where I feel like it will lose a little bit of momentum. But of course, with volume, it can revive it. But for the most part, I think the best setup and the best scenario for MRN is being able to hold up 6. If it can hold up 6, that is great. Then as far as holding up 7, even better, because if it can hold up 7 and build up consolidation and as well as support in this particular area, then of course we can look forward to seeing another pop. So that's what I wanted to update you guys on. So we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information for MRIN. So we can see the short volume ratio being at 27.32%. As we scroll down on the page, the short shares availability is at 950,000, updated 5 minutes ago. And as far as for the short ball free rate, it is at 65.18. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see here on the 28th, it was at 43.96. And as far as for the close on the 29th, it's at 47.87. So yes, MRIN does continue to have short squeeze potential. And due to the fact that they recently announced their earnings and it wasn't that great, we are going to see a lot more shorts wanting to get into this play play and drive the price down even further. But do keep in mind that just means that MRIN, when there's a lot of volume and there's a lot of buying pressure coming through the stock, it can make a strong move to the upside. So keep this on your watch list. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Marin. So we can see here on the inflow it was 126 and on the outflow it was 121. On the large, it was 28.40, and on the medium, it was 77.94. On the small, it was 19.98. On the outflow side, which we had 121, on the large, it was 28.22, and on the medium, it was 74.09, and on the small, it was 18.71. Keep in mind, this is in the millions. As far as for the large-scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, July the 30th, big-time inflow day being at 178.46. And of course, this is of no surprise in the 3 days prior to our outflow days. So taking a look at the stats that we just viewed, that's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing a lot of strength in Marin today. But also, it's not surprising that it gave up a lot of its gains. It did have earnings that they were going to be going into in regards into the after hours. So like I was saying inside of the technical analysis, it'll be very interesting to see if it can hold up the $7 level. If it doesn't, then we got to see how well it holds up at 6, and then you want to make sure you continue to keep an eye on it, and also taking a look at the inflows and outflows and seeing those large scale orders if institutions are still continuing to load up on shares. So now let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for Marin Software, when I was taking a look at the earnings right after hours, hey, it didn't end up being that great. Their revenues decreased year over year by 16%, and the last time I checked, it was getting dumped. So it'll be very interesting to see how well it could hold up the $7 level. If you are thinking about getting into a position, I would be very careful here and make sure you have the right strategy in place if you are considering to do this. We do want to see it continue to respect areas of support. If it ends up breaking through those particular areas, it just does not look like a great setup for me. But at the same time, hey, you might be able to find something for yourself. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have a lot of short squeeze potential, and I won't be surprised if we see the short volume ratio actually go up due to the fact that, hey, it is around earnings time. So as far as next week is concerned, can we see a possible spike? Maybe, but for the most part, I think it's going to be very volatile, and I wouldn't be taking any positions whatsoever until we see the price actually stabilize itself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.